Hey guys, and welcome to another Artifact CCG.com video, and today we are going to be examining a deck building technique, or a deck building tip, I suppose, and it's going to be the concept of secondary win conditions and how they matter in Artifact. And while we're going along, I figured I'd have some PAX footage playing in the background, because why not? So basically, secondary win conditions are cards or combinations of cards that you put in your deck that help you towards your main goal, but at times can allow you to win the game through a non-normal way, I suppose. So examples of this in Artifact would be things like ancient strategies, or cards that allow you to very quickly kill an ancient and end the game that way. And typically, in Artifact, you're going to see 2 towers fall, and that's how you're going to win. And it's very rare that you actually see an ancient win. But if you have cards in your deck that allow you to get ancient wins, it just opens up more lines of play that will lead to your victory, and it forces your opponent to answer a lane that essentially doesn't matter anymore. So cards that can do this are cards like the Oath in black. And while the Oath doesn't help too much along your main strategy, it can help finish just a tower. Toss that down after using something like an Assassinate in the round of 10 mana. Your opponent doesn't have any heroes there anymore, and it's safe, and all of a sudden you're killing that tower instead of letting it live. But it also has that secondary use of, if you're ever sitting in that ancient lane, dropping 2 Oaths can very quickly add up to 80 damage in combination with however many units you have there. Cards that are also available for this in like other colors, red has like Red Mist Pillagers, which can very quickly get out of control if your opponent doesn't answer them. And, blue-green has that combo that they like to do with the infinite mana of Salamene and the Emissary of the Quorum buff that can be used to, essentially kill anything. I mean, you can get crazy high damage counts. The 80 of the Ancient is nothing. And all sorts of Ancient cards are a great thing to have in your deck because it gives you a secondary win condition. And it's one of the best secondary win conditions, in my opinion, because it forces your opponent to commit resources to a dead lane, which then makes your normal primary win condition that much easier. So when you're building decks in Artifact, try to have some sort of ancient killing secondary win condition. Now, you don't have to have one, but if you can afford to fit one, even if it just means putting a single Red Mist Pillager in your deck, some of your games might just end up forcing your opponent to put a hero into that lane that's already over, and it could end up winning the game for you. Another secondary win condition would be Time of Triumph, which at 8 mana is typically a primary win condition in some sense, but it can also be a secondary win condition, especially in green decks, like the green-red ramp decks that you may see, where, if they just draw 2 stars aligned into Time of Triumph round 2 and can buff their Drow plus another hero with the good old Time of Triumph buff, you're probably just going to win. It's just there. You just win. You can also see this in late game. If you haven't won by the end of the game, and you can get 3 heroes into a single lane, do something like Time of Triumph, Aghanim Sanctum, reset the mana, play another Time of Triumph, you're probably just going to win at that point, especially if you have blinks to move to other lanes with all that extra siege damage and such. You can very quickly end the game from there. Another example of this would be Thunder God's Wrath and Aghanim Sanctum. Zeus is just great to have in your deck. Thunder God's Wrath is just great to have in your deck. Aghanim Sanctum is just great to have in your deck. There's nothing abnormal about these cards. But if you ever happen to have 2 Thunder God's Wrath on the round of 7 mana or later, and an Aghanim Sanctum, you're looking at dealing 8 piercing damage across the board to all enemy heroes, and that is very likely going to kill upwards of 3. And if you pull that off, you're probably just going to straight win the game. And this is why Zeus is so powerful right now. He just offers you this free secondary win condition, and even if you don't get the double Thunder God's Wrath, his card is still just great. Let's see, what else? Well, we do have Vestors of the Tyrant, which is another strange secondary win condition. It essentially just locks your opponent out of winning. So if you can get several Vestors on the board, and you're looking at, 3 to 6 armor on the towers that they're trying to kill, and even if they kill those heroes, they immediately respawn the next round. It makes it almost impossible for your opponent to end the game when you have several of these down on the board. And for that reason, it's sort of a secondary win condition that just gives you 2 to 3 rounds longer for your main win condition to come into effect. And finally, we also have double Payday plays. So Payday is obviously used in a lot of gold decks, such as the red-black gold gen or even blue-black gold gen, and the ability to double your gold is insane. But the secondary win condition of Payday is if you ever draw 2 of them by the round of 6 mana, or if you, even in like the round of 5 mana or something, if you have 2 black heroes and you somehow wipe your opponent crazily and can afford to play 2 Paydays in a row, the exponential factor of Payday leads to this strange secondary win condition where you can get up to gold counts of 120, 200 even. Well, that's probably not going to happen anytime, but you can get very easily over 100 gold if you can double Payday. Even if you just start from the, measly count of like 15, maybe you annihilated a lane last round, and then you go ahead and go Payday, you're looking at 60 gold. And that is just this strange secondary win condition that happens every once in a while. That just leads to you having way more items than you ever should at that point in the game. And all these cards, all these secondary win conditions, all of these effects are great to have in your deck because they allow you to have an out in games that are really close, to have a way to just gain more wins. So if you're looking, maybe you have 39 cards chosen and you're looking for that 40th card, just consider running something that offers a secondary win condition if you can. You don't have to, but it's something that I really value as a deck builder. I value having these outs that my opponent either doesn't see coming, or if they do see coming, they have to, stop it. And then my main win condition can farther succeed as they're committing heroes to useless lanes and to stopping useless combos in a sense. But in any case, I hope you liked this video. If you didn't, feel free to tell us why in the comments below. If you did, please like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot, especially as we're getting going here. And I'm AnAudienceOfOne. This has been an ArtifactCCG.com video, and I will see you guys next time.